So, good afternoon. Dear seminar participants, I'm very happy to welcome you here today on behalf of Crisis Research Centre at our seminar, which is all about communities. And my name is Anne-Mai Nagel. I am the co-founder of this NGO, and I'm also a PhD student at Tallinn University of Technology. And as I already said, today is all about community and its part in crisis management. So we have this part where I speak a little bit. Then we have a keynote speech by Mariia Tyschenko from Kiev, Ukraine. And then we also have a very interesting panel discussion where we go more in depth into how to support communities. And we are here thanks to the funding from the National Foundation of Civil Society and the Ministry of Interior, and we are very grateful for this. So this week actually marks the end of our community crisis preparedness projects. So we did 2 this year, one right here in Tallinn, in one of the biggest districts, Haabersti. And this week also, I'm sure you all have heard about unprecedented drone attacks on communities in Ukraine. So it's very clear, it has been for a long time, that this crisis preparedness is very much needed. And we all know as well how important is the part of community. And our wish for today, gathering you all here, was also related a bit to community. And we have this hope that perhaps we form at least a new network today, or new community. So you might have people here who are strangers to you, maybe some you know, but every one of you somehow works to make our communities, whether in Estonia or in Ukraine, more prepared for crisis and to also get through the difficult times we live in. So please use the opportunity today to talk to each other, to find out who is here, and perhaps new ideas, perhaps even new projects can be born today. And just to tell you, it looks like we have not too many people, but I will tell you who is here today as well. So we have here representatives of communities in Estonia and in Ukraine, the Rescue Board, the Ministry of Interior of Estonia, Tallinn University of Technology, the Estonian Academy of Security Sciences is here as well, City of Tallinn, Estonian Cooperation Assembly is here as well, National Foundation of Civil Society, and the Emergency Call Center is also here. Ukraine associations in Estonia and State Special Communications Service of Ukraine. We are very glad that you all came here. So now you understand that you're really all into this crisis preparedness and we have lots of potential here. And we all understand how important is community. And of course, as a special guest, we have Dr. Mariia Tyschenko, straight from Ukraine, Kiev, who will tell us about her and her team's important work in her NGO Poruch that has been now done for over a decade. And Mariia has over 200 successful projects, both in Ukraine and internationally, together with her team. So welcome, Mariia. But before we move to her keynote speech, I will tell you a little about what our NGO Crisis Research Centre has been up to this year. So just 4 slides on what we have been doing. I will try to keep this short. So we have had 2 years of crisis preparedness with communities. Last year in northern Tallinn, not very far away from here actually. And this year we have 2 communities, one in Tallinn and one in eastern Estonia, not too far from Russian border. And the aim is to raise crisis preparedness with communities. And we were very specific about this. We didn't want to say for communities, or it's very much about doing it together with them. And here you can see some images, whether it's the basic survival skills training. We also have psychological first aid and first aid in general as well. And this all we have done, also, again, with the support of National Foundation for Civil Society and Ministry of Interior. So 2 years. And we have we have quite long trainings for the community. So if we take this one community member, and if they should go through all of this, which we offer, some are also online, it's 19 hours of specific crisis preparedness training. So it is quite comprehensive. It's not a 1 hour thing. I will go and listen, and of course these short things help as well, but we know this longer term impact can be made when they are exposed to this knowledge for longer periods. And also, which is really crucial, our program is not only about learning the skills, it's also about how these community members, they get to know each other. They see the people in community maybe in the first training, the second training. Well, we are Estonians, maybe by the third training we speak to each other. So it's a little bit complicated here, but we have seen this, that people who were strangers before, living in the same neighborhood, they now come to the third training and they hug. By this time they hug. So we have scientific proof of this, that hugging occurs after like this many hours in Estonia. And we do it together with many partners. So we have Women's Voluntary Defense Organization. This is Naiskodukaitse. We have NGO Headmatters, Peaasjad. Also paramedics come to help us. MUPO is Tallinn Municipal Police. So they are responsible for guarding this 500,000 people in Tallinn and helping them in crisis times. And also, of course, local governments, because all of these projects by National Foundation of Civil Society, they are organized in a way which brings together the need from the local government and the communities, and then what the NGOs offer. And just in numbers, so as I said, last year we did one community, Kopli 93, in this northern Tallinn with 100 participants. This year we had 300 participants, and we hope to support more communities in the future. And we also don't only train them, we buy them crisis equipment as well. So for them to be independent on their own, whether it's water purification tablets, it's dry food, it is whatever kind of equipment they might need to survive for like a week on their own if they would be completely cut off. But it all comes down to only if they help each other, because otherwise it's much more complicated. And we also, from this year, have a podcast in Delfi, so one of the main news portals in Estonia. Mariia just came in yesterday and gave a talk there, and we had a nice discussion about her activities, also for the wider audience. And it's very important for me and all of us in the center to measure our impact. So this is one of the things I have learned, that NGOs have to do it, and we all would actually like to know that what we are doing has actual impact. So starting this year, we also took this more academic approach, and I will tell you a little bit more in depth about it. So all of the people who come to our trainings, they get the survey before they come to our training. So it basically maps how well they are prepared now. What things do they have in their home? What skills do they have? How much have they discussed this topic with the community even, or their apartment association in these panel buildings? And we repeat the questionnaire 3 months after they have come to our trainings. So we try to see the long term, not the day after, not week after, but this longer perspective, what has changed in their lives and for their communities. So this is this year's numbers, so how many responses we have received before they came. So we just finished with the trainings last week, so these people will get these questionnaires in 3 months' time, but now we have these people who came in February. And of course, not everyone who comes answers 3 months after, so we have to keep this in mind as well. And we also have a control group. So we send this questionnaire to people who haven't taken part of our trainings to see the actual impact, because anyway, everyone nowadays speaks about crisis preparedness. So we want to be sure that it's actually our trainings that had the impact and not something else. But these first results are quite nice, so I will show you also a little bit. So one of the things we asked them before and after is how do they perceive their own crisis preparedness? So how much do they think that they are prepared? And we see that if prepared, there are about 12%, so about 1/5 of people say they are not prepared at all. Then after the trainings, it's 4.5. So we see also very little prepared. Before it was 1/3, and then it's 4.5. And we see the numbers of people who consider them to be either somewhat prepared or very prepared, these go up. So this, what we don't want to see, it goes down, and what we want to see goes up. But again, this is after its preliminary results, because we can only get the data by the full data by, I think, autumn, after the 3 months of the last programs. Also, we asked them how often do they talk with their family about crisis preparedness. So we see that this made us very happy. So out of this 22 people, 0 said that they haven't discussed after the training crisis preparedness with their family. And we see also who talk about it once a month, it goes up, and some brave people bring it up once a week and are the nagging partner for their family. Yes?
How do you pick the communities to be trained?
So...
Or do they apply?
Yes, so far under this National Foundation for Civil Society, it has worked like this, that we have approached the communities who have had the idea to do something. And then we put it together what they actually want. But now, after the 2 years, we have come to this actual training program, what we can, like a standardized thing we can offer.
So this is a little bit of a biased selection, because these already communities are proactive about
Yes, of course it is, but okay. That's true. So it means that these are people, communities who are more active anyway, who come to our trainings, yes. But we cannot get the other results. Yeah. But we have the control group, so that's good. And we also asked them have you bought anything crisis preparedness related after the trainings? So 68% say that after I went to the training, I actually bought something, whether it's water, food, batteries, torch, whatever. So this is also very encouraging. And many people also say that after I came to the training, I still saw I need to search for some further information, and I actually did it. So I did search for extra information. And also they say that they are more confident in crisis preparedness should something happen. And we know that this predicts how well that they actually start thinking more logically in crisis, take better actions, and try to go through these difficult times with being better prepared what might happen. But we are really looking forward to the final results, and when we get to this, we will publish a report of these final results, because we hope to get more than 22 people who answer. But this will take a little bit of time. So, but still, okay, now we know that there are some things that help and some things that people see, it seems to be also useful and has impact, but we also must ask, what could we do more? What can we learn from Ukraine? And now I would give the floor to Dr. Mariia Tyschenko, who will tell us about this. So,
thank you so much.
I will get this.
Yes. So, First of all, thank you so much for your support to our country, to our communities, to people who come here and who were hosted by Estonians. Thank you so much for this valuable support to our country. It's very important for us. I'm leading all Ukrainian organization called Poruch, which means we are nearby, we are ready to help. It's all Ukrainian, and we are represented in all parts of Ukraine. But I will tell you much more. We are a community which started from 2011, and it was volunteer-based, but then we involve a lot of people, and then it's become a big organization with a lot of experience, because our experience started at the beginning of the war, because we have been in Donetsk and Lugansk region since 2014. So till full-scale invasion, we were more prepared than other people, let's say like this. So our actually key directions of work, since we have war, so we are on the stages of emergency. on stabilization phase and in the development also. Because during the war, we still have reforms. We still develop our country. We still work with communities, with government, and nothing stops us. So, our, as you see, our main directions is pro-European direction and also youth policy. We are active in gender policy in Ukraine. So we have really, really different directions. So for all these directions of work in the phase of emergency, stabilization, and development, we have a lot of people who are doing this work. So this presentation, it's not only about me, it's about all our people who are gathering together. And we have, this is for today, but it's, I'm not sure, because probably we have more, because each day we develop so fast. So we have 825 volunteers all over Ukraine, and we have 75 experts in our organization. Some examples of our projects, and then I will connect with some research-based, because with Anna-May, with Hannes, we are researchers. So we do research-based solutions. So we do research, we find gaps, and we cover these gaps with solutions. At the first stages of emergency during full-scale invasion, we pay attention to vulnerable groups. So we evacuated 43 people with disabilities from Kharkiv to Malmö, where actually we studied with Anna-May and where we met with Anna-May in one summer academy for professional development. That's why our partners from FIFS, from Parasport organization, hosted people with disabilities, because these people, usually not in the focus. And sometimes these people can be deaf, they can sometimes be lost because they don't hear what is going on, or sometimes they can't understand if they have mental disability. So we care and we focus on vulnerable groups who need much more attention probably than we are. Since 2011, we integrate people with disabilities to society. We did fashion shows on wheelchairs in Kyiv, Kharkiv, and this is a logical continuation of our work. And we implement these values of JESI, gender equality, social inclusion, to all our projects. So it doesn't matter which one, it's red lines through all our projects. And we are really active in the south of Ukraine. We work before with Save the Children. Now we work with UNICEF. And what we have mobile brigades with psychologists, with facilitators, and we provide support where it's urgent situation. We're creating bomb shelters. But what is important, we develop methodology for bomb shelters, which equip specially for people with disabilities and for children with mental disabilities. And we created such a shelter in Kyiv. It was of huge need because children need a little bit another attention and a little bit another equipment. And I will share these materials with you if it will be interesting for you. And we also provide a series of trainings for young people since we have actually School of Volunteers since 2015. And we are active in social resilience movement in Ukraine, and organize summer camps for young people and take part in Erasmus+. But it's very important that civil society, we are connected with government institutions, central government institutions, and local government institutions. For example, our organization, we are advisors. We have JESI committee in the Ministry of Energy. We volunteer for Ministry of Veterans. So it's strong connections between, but it's, Anna may ask me these days, but can you give critique? Yes, of course, we do this. That's why we are there, actually. Yes, we do criticize, but much more during the wartime. It's much more partnership with government institutions, with local authorities. So, we have one aim and we look at the same direction. So And since we work there for free, because on volunteer basis, yes, we can do critics. Again, we do research, and as a result of the research, we found that during this full-scale invasion, in the ministry, people would like to receive actually psychological support, because this ministry is critical infrastructure, who is responsible for critical infrastructure, energy, and people are really affected. So our organization provides trainings to government servants in the Ministry of Energy of Ukraine. And so I will show you some scheme. It's not mine, but I would like you to pay attention that it's very interesting that civil society, volunteers, state, international humanitarian support, and market economy. So we work all together. So it's not competition, we work together. And much more. In Ukraine, we created cluster system. So we have cluster, for example, water cluster. And we meet there in this, or child protection cluster, or gender cluster. In each of these clusters, we have representatives of government, we have representatives of international organizations, and we have civil society sector. Why we do this? Because we would like to know cross-checking. So how the situation? Is this region covered with support? Do people have enough help here? Or we need to focus much more in another region? Or we are present here, or who is present here more? That sometimes, you know, and you will see in statistics, people are not registered, or they don't want to register, or they move 5 times already, and they don't want, you know, or they receive several times help. So that's why we have cluster system. So we cooperate, and our organization, we are members of Ukrainian Humanitarian Fund. It's a separate structure of UN, and they have separate budget, and we are on board member together with big international organizations. But we were chosen by elections from civil society sector. And I would like to pay your attention to stakeholders who do crisis response these days. So it's according to the research results. For example, State Emergency Service now have much more work than district military administrations, because, you know, we have already military administrations. Starostat, it's administrative like district. So after reform of decentralization, it's one community, but representatives of in villages, it's starostat. So it's small villages representatives. So you see who is responsible for what, like police, regional military, but here 28% public organizations. So we are visible. We have also our work in any of our community. So together with government institution, we do work together actually. And this is on the stage of emergency. Why I'm telling about emergency? Because comparing with Estonia, we are a big country. We are a very big country. Some communities are occupied. It's approximately 20% of territory. Some communities already elaborated. It's another question. You know, for some communities on the stage, we are all affected. Of course, all Ukraine is affected, but demands are quite different in these communities, in west part of communities. This year, our government have decision about having such program. It's called Plech-o-plech, which means we are standing by each other. And for example, central communities and west communities help communities who are in front line. So it's like help each other inside country. Because again, it's quite different situations. some emergency, some stabilization, and some on development phase. I would like also to pay your attention according to the research, what is the answer? How much do you believe that Ukraine will be able to repeal the attack of Russia? And why I show you this slide? Because just recently Guardian told that only 10% of Ukrainians believe that they can resist. No, we did research, everything is clear, and yes, we believe that we will win this war. Yeah, and we know that we are strong enough to help our communities. And what is empower our society during the war? So, new quality of social relations. Even if you don't want to talk to your parents or relatives, what is happening often, you have to, and this make relations quite different. If you forgot about your someone, you know, close people, but you will remember all of them, because this war changed reality. Absolutely. So it's new relations between families, between also friends, and I will prove you. So from victim of war to empowerment, women and gender issues. This is, actually I'm specialist in GESI, gender equality, social inclusion, so I need more time. But generally, men are in the war. Women stay in communities, and we are talking about communities which are, again, quite different. We have big cities, we have small communities, and the situation in these communities can be different, but women become leaders of communities. They have to take responsibility, and fortunately, unfortunately, they are leading a role in our society right now. Last year, 85% of women opened enterprises. And our organization helped them because we provide program, we implemented program in Ukraine and cover 6 regions with trainings how to do business. So we support to develop also this direction of work. From society without trust to society of trust in resistance. So in our communities, we have low level of trust to local authorities or to government. And this actually help civil society sector to be together now with already our local authorities to create a lot of things together. And volunteer is actually a style of life, becomes style of life of Ukrainians. So whatever you do, where you go to work, you volunteer. So, you know, all people are volunteers. And for example, since 2015, we founded School of Peace in Ukraine. And we taught communities how to be volunteer in education, in sport, in culture, in different activities. And that's why we have such big network of communities with our volunteers. And Ukraine actually did activization of our Ukrainian friends who live abroad or, you know, for a long time. And this helped us also to create strong social cohesion for our society. And, but according to, again, to the research results, what problems do we have? We have lack of resources. Because all resources, budget resources, we are focusing on the war, of course, to protect our communities, to protect our people. Security challenges every day, absolutely, and demographical issues. I will show you statistic about our demographical situation and hopefully optimistic variant of our future. And communication also, because, you know, when we have communities which are occupied, it's difficult to communicate with relatives, with our loved ones who are in the occupation. But of course, and I would like to stress that all pictures that you will see, this is pictures of our children, and so which I use in our presentation. So this is paintings of our children. And we have strong coordination with humanitarian organizations. We have strong cooperation in all levels. So humanitarian organization, local authorities, and civil society, which is in special region, in concrete region. I would like also to thank you for helping us to implement reform of decentralization, because Estonia actually took a very important part. Estonia was a part of You Lead with Europe program together with Sweden, Lithuania, and other countries. And Estonia helped us actually to implement much more IT solutions for our communities. And reform of decentralization also influenced to resistance. Because during the war, we have strong communities, we have strong local authorities who can do their own decisions. And they could actually implement their solutions in the communities. Since they challenge with a lot of problems, like internally displaced people, even if this community was not occupied or under attack, they face with another kind of problems. But since they had power, they had this instrument, they can implement, and continue their work in each community. And during the war, we also, we didn't stop, and reform of decentralization continue, and we continue implementing already new services. And actually, due to this reform, we solve a lot of problems really much more easily. For example, people can't, they lost their documents, and they can, come to the administrative service centers and receive their documents. And daily life of our communities in the war. So, war or not, classes must be go on. So children visiting kindergartens, visiting schools, and as for me, teachers are, this is heroes because during alarms they provide and organize children to go to bomb shelters, to organize their safety and security. They protect them, they teach them. So our life continues. We have virtual universities, we have online, due to COVID, we had these skills and continue our work, continue our life. And cultural life we still have. We have theaters, we have opera, and this gives us, some senses of life, and, it's passion to life. So it's very important. And I know when people visit Kiev, sometimes they are super surprised that we have restaurants and open and with good food. Yes, we need to somehow, to continue stability of our life. And this gives, something, realistic, human for us. And life between two walls. So we are a little bit tired to run to shelters or to metro. We are lucky to have metro. Unfortunately, in Tallinn you don't have. But we are lucky, but we are tired to go, to metro, and we live between walls. So life between walls, it means that we have place where we can stay during alarm attacks. So we just protect us. So our life changed from underground to two walls. And life in new schedule, curfew, work, we have, of course, prices, volunteer, and we change our lifestyle to some economy, we try to save energy and to use it properly. And help yourself. This is a very important rule, because if you can help yourself, then you can help another people, which is closer one, which is in your community. So this is really important. And it's just coincidence data, but even during this even coincidence data, it's September 2024. You can see, this is interactive map which we have, and you can see actually how we live. So generally, we have such map. We can check it during alarm. So which region under attack, or where we have this alarm already. So this is our daily life already. And this is why I put here a slide resistant of communities and show you the schedule of electricity, because this problem halfly solved for us. But of course, vulnerable families can provide some generators, or it's very expensive, you know. But these schedules give us opportunity to do planning, to do proper planning, when you can work, when you can prepare food, when you can work and do something. So these, you know, opportunities which we have. And Russian attack, of course, critical infrastructure. And I would like to stress that we have head of CCIP here, General Poti Alexander, with whom you can talk during the break, because he knows about critical infrastructure much more, because he's responsible for critical infrastructure. And so what is critical infrastructure? I put here a slide about who is responsible for what. So this is Ministry of Communities, like railway station. And you know, it was recently cyber attack to a Ukrainian railway station. This is food, this is elevators, and so on. So in the Ministry of Energy, of course, the most important, this is station, our stations, and Ministry of Strategic Industries, defense industry, enterprises. But the most important thing that communities should know, this object of infrastructure can be in your community. And responsibility for critical infrastructure is for owner of infrastructure, of critical infrastructure. And in a lot of times, it can be local authorities who are responsible. So it means that local authorities have to think about another problem. This is which attacks can be in the community. And this is examples of which attacks can be in the community and solutions which can be in the communities. So since we have here also local authorities, representatives, it's very important that you should know how to protect critical object of infrastructure. And what is the situation with damages? Because due to these attacks, unfortunately, we have 588 billion combined economical, social, and other financial losses among all these mentioned regions. But total amount, of course, is huge. But each race each day, because each day we have attacks. And but we recover very fast. We try to do our best, and the local authorities, civil society work together. Our organization on the phase of emergency, we of course try to help our people. We always help with roofs mostly. And just some critical places in the houses, which can be solved really fast, but can give opportunity to continue life in these objects. And so this is actually improvement about women's role in our society. So. As I told you, how this war influenced to justice, gender equality, and social inclusion, and changes. Yes, I have to. So, women change professions really fast right now, and unfortunately, they have to. Study new professions, which can be hard, but we have already women on the trucks and women drivers of metro. So we change the situation, of course, employment of men go down because men are in the war. But we have more than 80,000 women in military services in Ukraine. So it means that women in the army, in military forces, they are visible, and they play a very important role. And who make up the community in Ukraine? So I would like to show you a statistic of 2021, because at the time we had 37.8 million people, and you know, that time we had another future than we have now. But if we are talking about employment, it's very important to understand that we have enterprises which are damaged, which unfortunately were destroyed totally, which can be renovated or start their business from the scratch. We have relocated businesses. And this is also important because they strengthen the communities where they relocate, because they give possibility to people. So IDP right now, this is not a problem. This is opportunity for another communities also, because these people can give work, they come to do business, they can give working places to the communities. But the same time, economically inactive 8 million people. So, during actually all phase of the war since 2014, of course, we have that time entirely displaced people up to 2 million, and now it's actually inside country it's approximately 6 million. But again, we have people who are not registered and who don't want or who never been registered. We have people who flew from Ukraine to another countries and now returning back. And actually, you know, probably Russian disinformation shared all over Europe, and unfortunately, they told that Ukrainians stay in other countries. No, we have actually high level of returning. Mostly, of course, this is women with children. But with Ministry of Economy, last year we did program Grow Up, and where we had 250 women who actually share their business to another territories. And this is, we try to return women to market from parental leave. So it's very important also to give them opportunities. And the problem with internally displaced people, since we have big country, of course, people moved inside country. So they, right now it's unfortunately up to already approximately 6 million, because again, we can't account properly how many, because it's a non-stop movement. Because this time, today, under attack, Sumy region, Kharkiv. So it's, you know, dynamic process which going on. And I told you, in optimistic our perspective, with the territory of 1991, we will have 32 million people. So we have optimistic scenario and vision about our people who return, who will continue their work in their communities. So how we keep informing people, and how we communicate with in our society generally. So the share of those who constantly in touch with their relatives, and I told you that situation changed so much that you know, from 27 to 72%, it's huge growth. How we start to communicate with relatives. So, and the same happened with friends, from 15 to 48%, So our relations in society become more stronger. We have, much more stronger social cohesion. And when the question about internally displaced people, where to go? Yeah, first, what do you think about two relatives? Who is these relatives? You try to remember who is these relatives. Then you think about your friends. Who will host me? Yeah? Who will host my relatives? So we constantly, change the situation. But what is the difference? And Anna may stress on this about communication in Estonian society. You see, we have communication with neighbors. It's strong communication, 30%, because we have channels of communication. This is different messengers which we use daily in our society. And notification methods in crisis which we use, and you can see this is a message in community in social media. This is application about sirens which we use. This is community website, but also website can be in Facebook mostly. Telephone notifications and other channels of communication. So how we actually stay in touch with each other. And I used here our great painter, Titov, Nikita Titov, to show this social cohesion. And art during the war developed very fast, but we changed the meanings about, the senses which are putting to art. So, so if communities are very different, and it's very different because, we have different changes in our situations. For example, in August 2022, 89% citizens of Ukraine identify themselves as Ukrainians. It's logical that, yeah, we are Ukrainians, but I will show you later why I stress on this. Soviet identity had 7% in 2022, and in 2021, it was 21%. 81% disagreed with statement Russia and Ukrainians are one people. 64 believe that the relationship with Russia are impossible. 76% so this is support renaming. Because from Soviet times we had, a lot of streets named after Russians, authors, and so on. And what is most important, we have renaming of the streets after our heroes right now. And what is most important, heroes, men and female, also. This is really interesting, statistic which shows that on the question, do you agree that Russians and Ukrainians are one people? Yeah. So just imagine, in 2021, it was 41% who believe that we are the same. 41%, it's huge amount of people. But most of all, who is this people? Just look, who is this people? This is 51 plus. And it was regional difference because Russian propaganda started to work in Donetsk, Lugansk, in eastern part of Ukraine, really, really long time ago. That's why its percentage is 23. These regions, which regions? Because it was really big impact of propaganda and disinformation in Lugansk and Donetsk region, unfortunately. But luckily, we have changes. 8% already believe that we are the same. So from 2022. So we have dynamic, some dynamic, another dynamic. And do you currently regret the dissolution, the Soviet Union in 1991? So you also can see the dynamic. This is quite different things, how we saw our future, because this research was it's year by year done, so we can see the dynamic, how it's changed. So among Russian people, among Russian population, they truly believed, that it was mistake. But Ukrainians never believe, and you saw this dynamic. So this is, research-based evidence which we have and which we can, prove that we quite different way of thinking. And what our organization did in Donetsk, Lugansk, we created social cohesion centers. It was 28 centers in Donetsk and Lugansk region after start of the war, 2014. And last year we opened one more center in the center of Ukraine. We shared this experience all over Ukraine because we have cultural differences. We had a lot of stigma created by Russian Federation. People from East are not, they not the same people. People from West speak only Ukrainian language and so on. It was a lot of stigma in society. To make social cohesion, we of course made it physically, creating a social cohesion center, and institutionally. We found the ways how to, make these connections between internally displaced people and hosting community. So through culture, sport, education, how we did it? We created initiative groups, and we work with these initiative groups in these communities. And these people become already, some of them in the parliament, our parliament, some of them, they're activists, so they were really active in their communities in Donetsk, Lugansk. Now they're active in another communities of Ukraine. And since my team, we worked in Donetsk and Lugansk, it was fast development of that region since 2014, because people from big cities, they have big demands, they come to their small community, they want to have good hairdresser, they want have nails and so on. So they grow demand to this. For example, in Svyatogirsk, Russians at the beginning of full-scale invasion destroyed musician school, which we helped to create. Musician school never appeared in Svyatogirsk, but it's appeared due to IDP who came, and they need to continue child education in that musician school. As a result, we have musician theater, child musician theater in this community. So this is the way of development also of communities. On the question how you as internally displaced people and other members of community, because I told you we did research in each project to have this base fundament for our decisions. So when we ask them about do you often ask local authorities about help? Whom do you ask? Unfortunately, yes. Some answers were yes, but only choose friends and acquaintances with support me. So people ask not institution, but people who are close and whom they know mostly. Yes, if necessary to solve a mutual problem. So mostly in emergency cases, they ask for help. And we have statistics that, yes, in the doubt they support me. And yes, but only when this is friends and acquaintances. So otherwise they are not asking for support. And these social cohesion centers which we created, they give opportunity to, to invite people, they come, we build level of trust, we invite local authorities to provide services. So, it's common work with local authorities, with government institutions, you know, we build trust during the war. So I think it's, you know, challenges, but also opportunities for us. How to boost social cohesion together with communities. I will show you one example. I'm mentor of International Center for Local Democracy. This is a Swedish organization, and I work a long time with different communities in Georgia, in Balkan countries, as mentor of communities. And what is important, several years ago, we started program municipal partnership. We find partner from Sweden and partner from Ukraine. And they can choose project which they want to focus on, and they visit one community, visit another community. But it was start of relationship, more deeper, more, you know, powerful relationship. And I also encourage you, you know, if it's possible, to start also cooperation with our communities. It's, you know, it's give more opportunities, not only, you know, for Ukrainians, but we can also give our experience. We have unique, unfortunately, unique experience, but we can transfer this knowledge which we have. And we meet from time to time in different countries. We meet, of course, in Sweden and already in Ukraine. So our partners with whom we start to work several years ago, they come to visit us because it's much more deeper than institutions, you know. This is about people, this is about friends. And they already start to come to us. They visit our communities. Just on our way here, we had a visitor from Kalmar who came to Poltava, which is actually, you know, frontline also. It's in the center, but it's really attacked. And they visited, they gave support to this community, but not only support. They start preparedness, you know, they start to learn how to prepare themselves to crisis situations. I'm not talking about risk-only war. It can be anything, you know, because in Poland it was flow, and we had this experience from my native region, from Kherson region, because Russians did explosion of our Kakhovka dump, and we were also active in evacuation process of our people. So I encourage you to also have such partnership on the level of communities. And this is examples of social cohesion center. It's in Cherkasy, and the authors of all murals, children. So, and as I told you, we built also. They are not built, but we rebuilt somehow bomb shelter and also alert system. And we implement Jesse, as I told you before, and how we implement. This is furniture on which children paint, because children with mental disabilities, they need to change, you know, environment, and that's why we have really creative decisions how to do it. And I will tell you about schools of peace. Because during the war, yes, during the war, we have schools of peace, because level of violence raised in our society, and it's influenced to children in schools. And that's why in schools we teach children non-violence communication, mediation, transformation of conflict. We separately work with teachers, because teachers are authority, you know, so separately, but they meet together in the camps. And I just want to stress that General Puty was founder of this school, actually. And I continue to implement this project in Ukraine. And we have a lot of volunteers, it's volunteer-based project, but the space was supported by donors, different donors. But we continue on volunteer basis work with children in our schools. But why I'm talking about our schools of peace? Because these spaces, which also created by children, it's their ideas, we just implementers of their you know, dreams. why I'm talking about schools of peace? Because these schools become points of invincibility. These schools become points where people, internally displaced people, can come, charge battery, receive something hot to drink, can receive any services, and much more deeper. I'm mentor of Berislav Kherson community, which is frontline community, and they did steps forward. They did psychological support in these points of invincibility. You know, they try to do their best to help their people. So this is really important. So how children change our life. The authors of murals are children, but implementers, artists who are internally displaced people from different regions. So, and sometimes we involve children to not use their work, just support. So this is ideas of our children, and we work with traumatic experience of children because these children return to ordinary schools. Just imagine children who had so different traumatic experience, they return to ordinary classes. And in a lot of cases, these children become not victims, but aggressors. So we have psychology support, of course, in each school, but we work with much more deeper with trauma experience through different, actually methodology was developed in Malmö University together with my colleagues. And we implement in our schools. This is silent book of Alexander Shotokhin, who joined military forces now of Ukraine. He is the author of silent book. It's without pictures, only drafts. And children create their heroes. They do their own stories and they present their stories. And through this presentation of their own experience, you know, they try to express themselves and to give this information how it was. So, painting of our school, children from School of Peace was sold in Tartu University in auction here, and all money were directed to military forces of Ukraine. And thank you so much for support such way. It's valuable for us. It's very important. So this is the children created map of Ukraine with different poetry, which poet, and so this is with QR codes. But what is important, this painting was created in bomb shelter. So, you know, during the alarm. So this map have separate history of it. And we also have School of Volunteer. We continue. So because we don't want stigma in our society that volunteers are people who collect money. So we show the ways how you can be helpful this way. If you want to do this. So, for example, we have now 15 volunteers from Sweden, from Malmö, who join our schools, and they do English classes with our children about culture, experience, different topics. But it's very important because, you know, we prepare to Euro integration. So children have to speak English language too. And in our schools and in our social cohesion centers, we implement different. BOCHA is a instrument of integration people with disabilities, especially people who were injured or received invalidization during the war. And first time Ukraine was presented for 48 years, first time in competition in Malmö Open, which is the biggest parasport event. This year we had our team, Ukrainian team. We lost all games, but we lost games to champions of the world. so first, and we support also social enterprises and We don't have legal form in Ukraine of social enterprises, but we support, but it's functioning as social enterprise. And we have a lot of youth projects, but why it's important? Because we did camp for lawyers, student lawyers, and we invited the defender of General Milosevic to Ukraine. He came. And why we do this? Because it's important to show the way how to do justice. So we would like these people who did war crimes to still alive and to prove that justice happening and that we showed the legal way of justice. Because we believe in human rights. We believe that it should be justice in Ukraine, and we work with students, lawyers on this direction too. So I'm concluding. What is our main aim? So our main aim is strong connection and cooperation with European Union countries and of course, what we can provide security system in Ukraine, and because we have the well-experienced, trained army, military forces, we can help to strengthen civil protection, and in frame of European Union civil protection mechanism, we also can do it to transfer our knowledge. So also, of course, with your support, we hopefully will be soon members of European Union. So we have a lot of partners, and I hope next time I will put logo, your logo here, hopefully, and I will be glad to communicate with you, to cooperate. This is our site and Facebook page. We have 6,000 subscribers. We share very fast information, and this gives us opportunity to solve a lot of problems immediately. Thank you so much for your attention. And this is also a painting of our Titov artist. I have 5 minutes.
Yes, that's very good, because I think we might have some questions too, now that we have listened to Mariia. So we do have time for a couple of questions, please.
Do you have, I was thinking on imminent rate from degrowth Estonia, like we discussed actually before, do you have any like really surprising things that people in the West wouldn't think that would happen during these kinds of crises, like war, like on a individual level or on a community level? Something that surprised you in Ukraine, but now you've learned.
Thank you so much for this question. Each day in Ukraine to still alive is surprise for us, So each day we learn something new, because just for understanding each days appear new challenges for us, because Russians they're really good equipped. They have good knowledge. For me, just this week was surprised how they attack children, for example, through social media, and then they used a Telegram channel. In that school where you saw this map, it's in Lutsk, Volyn, looks like, pretty close to Belarus, but, not calm, but somehow more safe than in, for example, south or east. So Russians created groups, and they collect information about children through sexual provocations to teenagers. And then when they collect information, they share information picture and which way this child go to home and to school. So, it's a form of attacks to our children. Another, what is surprising, this is terror which Russians doing each day. This is terror during the night when, you try to sleep, and then again, life with two walls. And we just came from Kiev, which was under attack these days, and it's surprised us still alive till the morning. They have new tactics each day, and they have new strategies each day. We work in different parts of Ukraine, and in south of Ukraine, it's surprise each day. Our people were injured during their visit to families, vulnerable families, because we work with families with children. And yes, we have in Ukraine forced evacuation, but still we have parents who decided not to leave homes. And this is a big problem for our communities also, because then local authorities have to start court procedures. It should be decision of the court to took children. So each day it's new challenges from government level to concrete places, concrete, and from concrete to bigger.
I have a question.
Maybe you will present yourself,
Yes.
because
My name is Raul Savimaa and I'm from Estonian Academy of Security Sciences. You explained very much how the communities are empowered, especially in the times of crisis. But comparing to Estonia, Ukraine is a very big country.
Yeah.
How the communities have changed or not changed in western part of Ukraine, which is maybe not so often in immediate danger? Are there differences between the central and eastern and western parts?
Thank you so much for the question. I'm mentor of Berislav community, which is frontline, like gray zone, Kherson community, also Shatsk, Lutsk. This is my communities with whom I work daily. Poltava, someone I forgot, but I will tell you. But this is center of Ukraine, yeah. Cherkasy also. So this is communities affected all, absolutely all communities affected from the war. Just to understand, in Shatsk, for example, it was not military attacks or something, but they have fallen soldiers. They have families of fallen soldiers. Their children visit schools. These children have trauma. They have to work with women who lost their husbands, with men who lost their wives. They have to work different ways. So each community, even if you think that it's far from away, from active fuss, they are really affected, because each day we have funeral in our communities, each day, and it's visible. In big cities, for example, in Kiev, we have this funeral in Maidan, when we gave our respect to soldiers, we come in there. But just imagine how work community. They receive a message that you have death, some citizen killed. Then they send car with body. Then you have to pick up and you have to bring to your community. You have to organize this funeral. You have to say to family that, so even for even local authorities who are not directly affected from missiles, it's very hard work daily. Next question. For example, I told you that it's possibilities when business moved to the territory. Yes, they moved. But the another task of municipal administration, let's discuss, will you pay taxes here or in your community? Another question. At the beginning of full-scale invasion, our government did, I think it's amazing decision. They did tax holidays. So, that business can somehow survive. Yeah, but it's finished. So you need to decide where you will stay. And can you imagine people who moved, yes, they probably will stay here, but they need to decide but a lot of people have hope that maybe tomorrow I will go home. I will remove my business back because I have relatives, have partners there. So for each person, absolutely each person in Ukraine, it's effect from the war, but different effect. In my Berislav, in my Kherson, each day, now in Berislav we have question where to put garbage from the war, because 70% of community destroyed. Where to put all this, you know? So for each community, it's quite different level of questions. So it's again, emergency, stabilization, development. Yes, some communities try to develop, and this is really good because we have some resources, which, you know, because in budget system we have, Natasha, вирівнювання. Leveling, yeah. It's leveling through subsidies and so on. So we need communities who have profit just to do this. And of course, we are, again, thanks to our European Union partners, we have opportunities to pay to our government servant, not military, but government servant. It's very valuable and it's very important for us. But we try to support, of course, development of all businesses. It's quite different levels of problems. We have communities which were occupied, elaborate. Different, absolutely another situation. Infrastructure, critical infrastructure, water, electricity, basic needs. Another level of questions, what to do with animals. Thanks to European partners who love animals. It's very important because we have this, it's big problem for community. We have a lot of, for example, dogs, where we will, what to do with them. So, you know, each day appears so many different types of problems. But I need to say that due to reform of decentralization, due to strengthening of local authorities, we have power to decide it in local level. Maybe.
So, okay, thank you very much to Mariia.
Thank you.
What is this for you?
Bribes in European Union. Thank you.